Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought, for the human spirit is colored by such impressions. Marcus Aurelius. Did you know that you can understand what others are thinking using 3 simple strategies? Let's see what these strategies are and how to use them. These skills are important for dealing with any situation because they make it easier to understand someone else's thoughts and intentions. Let's look at a Stoic-themed story that shows how to understand others' thoughts and intentions. In this corporate world, the air has eyes. You will understand how media giants assume our future so accurately by calculating our past data. This will be eye-opening. Stick around now. Let's start. The story goes like this. In an old village, 2 brothers lived. The older one couldn't see and stayed mostly at home, while the younger one worked on the farm. They found wild animals damaging their crops. The younger brother, worried about this, had an idea. He thought, why not ask my blind brother to help scare the animals away? So, he built a small hut for his older brother in the field and explained the plan. The older brother agreed and started scaring the animals by shouting when he heard them. This went on for days. One day, a deer ran through the field, damaging the fence. Shortly after, the king's men came chasing after the deer. He asked the blind brother if he had seen the deer. The blind brother replied, I am blind. Sir, how could I have seen it? But I can tell you that the deer you're chasing isn't worth it. The men were surprised and asked why. The blind brother explained that the deer was pregnant, and it wasn't worth the effort to chase her. The king's men couldn't believe a blind man knew this. He ordered his officer to capture the deer alive to check if it was pregnant. When the officer returned with the deer, the commander was shocked and found that the blind man was right. When the commander returned the castle and told the king was amazed and wanted to meet him. The king, amazed, questioned the blind brother, wondering how he knew that. He asked for a truthful answer. The blind brother replied, Your Majesty, ask anything, and I will answer with complete honesty. The king said, You are a man of outstanding insight, and seem to have a deep understanding of various matters. I summoned you today to find out if my consort is cheating on me. The blind brother replied, Your Majesty, what made you ask such a question? Your union has been long-lasting for many years, so why do such doubts arise in your mind now? However, the king insisted, declaring, You must answer this question, or you will face the death penalty. Before the monarch's threat, the blind brother expressed, Your Majesty, in order to give you the answer you seek, I need you to grant one request of mine. The king asked, What is it about? The blind brother replied, For that, I need to be alone with your wife in a room. The king's men got angry and uncovered their swords from the sheath, but King stopped them. At first, the king was displeased with this proposal, but finally agreed and ordered his commander to leave the blind brother and the pregnant queen alone in the room. At this point, the blind brother expressed his intention to make physical contact with the pregnant queen. The queen reacted with anger to such a statement and attacked the blind brother with violence. She slapped him with all of her strength. After the conflict, the blind man was able to escape and appeared before the king. The blind brother then informed the king, Your Majesty, your wife is not faithful to you. Enraged, the king drew his sword and marched towards the queen, warning that any lie would result in her execution, and he commanded his men to arrest the blind brother in his cell until the truth unveils. The question was about the queen's loyalty, to which she replied, Your Majesty, you may take my life. But sorry, I have not been able to faithful. I was with your father. The king felt very sorry and disappointed, but relieved that the blind brother's words were true. When he heard this, he quickly approached the blind brother in the cell and asked him, How did you know about my wife's adultery? The blind man replied, Your Majesty, it was very simple. I mentioned to your wife my desire to touch her, and her reaction was so furious that she started attacking me instead of rejecting. She chose violence, even before talking, and analyzed the situation. It means she had a similar experience before. Impressed by the blind man's insight, King exclaimed, "Your insight is admirable. Let's continue. Give me the correct answer to the other question, and you will be set free." The king asked, "Tell me, am I really the son of my father or of another man?" To which the blind brother replied, "Your Majesty, why do you care so much about such a question? The origin of your parents is irrelevant. You are the lord of this land. Let such a concern dissolve." However, the king insisted, "No, I need a specific answer. Otherwise, doubt will consume me, and I will end your life. I want to know the truth." The blind brother replied, "Your Majesty, I can reveal your lineage to you right now. But first, I need your promise that you will not react with anger." The king assured, "I promise not to be angry with you." Then the blind brother revealed, "You are not your father's son." Hearing this, the king was shocked. He immediately turned to his mother and asked, "Mother, please tell me the truth. Am I really my father's son or another? If you don't tell me, I will renounce my existence right here." The king's mother replied, "Son, you are the son of the greedy merchant, not the before king. But don't tell anyone. Your throne will be taken from you." The king immediately returned to the blind brother and asked, "How did you know I am a son of the greedy merchant?" The blind man replied, "Your Majesty, I have answered many of your questions correctly, but I still have not received any reward. From this, I have concluded that you are prone to greed." But before king was not greedy. The king laughed and said, "What you ask for will be given to you. But explain how you distinguish right from wrong. How can you give such precise answers?" The blind brother said, "Your Majesty, my blindness is congenital. If I had sight, I could easily understand other people's thoughts. The mind has its language reflected in bodily movements. By observing eyes, lips, and gestures, one can understand what is going on in a person's mind. But being blind, I perceive through actions. To understand something, I set a person a task, and based on its performance, I understand what is going on in his mind." The king asked, "Then I too can understand the thoughts of others?" To which the blind brother replied, "No doubt, you too can discern the thoughts of others. First, you must work on yourself. This work involves quieting your mind and focusing on the present. To do this today, I'm going to show you 3 simple and accessible methods. Eyes and body expressions are the messengers of these emotions. In moments of sadness, they reflect that feeling, while a hearty laugh that makes the eyes light up and lifts the cheeks signifies happiness, goodwill, and generosity. Eyes play a key role. When they squint and sparkle, you can trust that the joy is genuine. Also, pay attention to the area between the eyebrows where wrinkles form under tension, often expressing confusion, intense reflection, or an effort to understand something complex. Your Majesty, the second technique is to observe nonverbal language. The body and hands can convey much without words, creating a secret language that expresses desire and feeling through subtle gestures. Imagine someone drumming their fingers or creating a repetitive sound by tapping for some reason while talking to you. This could indicate boredom, hurry, or a desire to end the conversation. I remember once when I met someone who was very interested in selling me something. His fingers were tapping rapidly on the item, indicating his disinterest or anxiety to end our conversation. In contrast, a person who remains still and adopts a relaxed stance shows attention and concern. This behavior reflects genuine interest and a desire to listen more. I remember my insightful teacher often adopting this posture. Even though he was calm, he was leaning in with interest, showing his desire to go deeper into the discussion. People who constantly manipulate their face during conversation can give you clues about their thoughts. These gestures often indicate anxiety, intense thought, or discomfort. Also, hand movements can reveal a lot. For example, if someone quickly touches their nose while talking, it may suggest that they are lying or not being completely honest. Paying attention to how they react to our words and understanding what is going on in their minds can help interpret their thoughts. However, to actually calculate these signs, it is crucial to focus your attention on the present. This is the only way you will be able to observe all of these behaviors, interpret them, and understand what is going on in the other person's mind. If you get stuck thinking about the past or worrying about the future, you will never be able to grasp the body language of the other person, and therefore will not understand their thoughts. Now, Your Majesty, let's move on to the third technique. Before I reveal it, it is important that you focus your mind by directing our attention to the present moment. We can understand the thoughts of others, especially when they are also focused on the here and now. It is important to move our minds to the present, to catch their thoughts. Continuing with the third technique, the blind brother said, King, to understand someone's thoughts, observe their voice. A voice can give away a lot about what a person is thinking and feeling. Fast and disorganized speech can indicate nervousness, anxiety, or agitation. On the other hand, someone who speaks slowly and relaxed is probably calm and collected. In addition, pay attention to the tone of voice. A loud and shrill tone may express anger or frustration, while a soft and calm tone suggests peace and relaxation. I remember talking to someone who claimed to be happy, but his voice was strained and loud. This contradiction raised doubts about his true joy. The voice can also express emotion, as in cases of sighs, screams, or hearty laughter. By paying attention to how they articulate words and use tone, you can easily understand their thoughts and feelings. So there you have it, Your Majesty. Those are the 3 techniques I've shared today. Observe the person's eyes, body language, and voice. Focus on these 3 aspects, and you will easily understand the thoughts of any person. However, remember that you must first focus on your thoughts and keep mind on the present. Only in this way will you be able to observe, interpret, and perceive what is going on in another person's mind. Remember, past is a history, future a mystery. The thing you only have is now. It's a gift. That's why we call it present. In this way, you will be able to recognize their thoughts and enrich your existence. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you find these tips valuable. Please write in the comments what country you are from and any other thoughts regarding the story. Until next time, peace.